going down? Yeah. What's going down? Just waiting for some people to get up in here. Got some. Did a little. I've been, educated on a lot of this, and I just, got to bring this little deeper dive that I did in the connection, as you can see with the title is. You know what I mean? So y'all can see what the title says, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah. What's this? Okay. What's this? Oh, okay. What's happening? What's happening? Y'all see what the title says? I'm just waiting to get a little audience in here real quick. Got some spectacular, you know what I'm saying? We're finna be chopping it up about, you know what I'm saying, Colorado, you know what I'm saying, out there in Colorado Springs, where Tesla had his headquarters, in an area called Knob Hill. I was just going to speak upon the connection between Tesla, the area, the land right there, Knob Hill, where Tesla had his actual facility at, and then also the NORAD, mountain base, and also the headquarters, the number one headquarters to the Olympic Training Center. It's located in Knob Hill as well. And I want to show a connection with all the connection that they have together with, UFOs, Bigfoot, Nephilim, fallen angels, and aliens. So, in Colorado Springs, Tesla had his headquarters where he did all of his, his scientific, situations. And it was located right there in a place right by downtown, Colorado Springs, called Knob Hill, which is actually like right there by Memorial Park. It was actually right off like where his facility used to be, you know what I'm saying? And then a few blocks up, you have the Olympic Training Center. The actual headquarters is this. This is the headquarters of the Olympic Training Center. And then about, I don't know, 3 to 5 miles or so, kind of like southwest of that, or to the mountains, you have NORAD. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to speak about the connection they have. You know what I'm saying? There's a connection they have. So I'm just waiting for a couple more people to hop up in here. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's a crazy connection, and it's pretty wild. You know what I mean? So what is the connection in Colorado with Tesla, the real Tesla, and you know what I'm saying, his where he did all his experiments, you know what I'm saying, and all that. You know what I mean? His headquarters right there. It's the same area they call Knob Hill in Colorado Springs. And then a few blocks up, they got the headquarters, the Olympic Training Center. You know what I'm saying? And then a few miles up, they got NORAD. You know what I mean? And this area is known to be super high traffic for UFOs, orbs, Bigfoots, Nephilim. This whole area. There's a lot of history. Y'all could dig into the history, whatever. But the connection between Tesla, the Knob Hill area, NORAD, the Olympic Training Center, UFOs, aliens, Nephilim, and fallen angels, and just like genetics is crazy. It's crazy. So I'm gonna start it off like this. some of this apple fritter, you know what I'm saying? But so where the Olympic Training Center is, just to break that down real fast, that used to be the old NORAD barracks and headquarters. So the Olympic Training Center's building and where that's at is it's off like, you know what I'm saying, is the actual old headquarters of NORAD, you know, in their old barracks building of all their workers and scientists and all that. And then 3 to 5 miles most like west, south, slightly southwest would be the actual NORAD in the mountains, the actual facility. So that connection is crazy right there. Plus, it's high traffic at Bigfoot sightings. Like some people say this was the origins of Bigfoot sightings, would be in, it's been everywhere, you know what I'm saying? But they would say this is like, you know, they say this is like the headquarters of Nephilim. And there's a lot of stories about Bigfoot and Nephilim right here by Pikes Peak in that mountain range right there. And so Knob Hill is right off. It's like it's right off, right after the mountains, like downtown Colorado Springs. Boom, 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 boom. So Tesla having his, they say that Tesla chose this place because this was like the most highest elevated place in the United States with the most in the clearest way to conduct, and he created free electricity and all kinds of crazy stuff. He also said he communicated with aliens or with people from, or some signals from outer space and stuff, whatnot. So that's crazy too, you know what I'm saying, with NORAD being right here and all this stuff being right here. Or the Olympics, if you go back to the origins of the Olympics from the ancient Greeks and all that, and where in the Romans and where the Olympics came from, and just their whole situation with that is tied in with Nephilim, fallen angels, and Greek demigods and false gods, or whatever you know what I'm saying, what people identify them as, you know what I'm saying. So that's crazy. So with the headquarters of the Olympics being the old base in the old barracks, and you know what I'm saying, the spot for NORAD, puts the most elite athletes around the world go to this training center, this Olympic training center, the most elite athletes in the world. So think about it. The way it all ties in is there's a lot of UFO sightings in that area everywhere. So before, like, remember we had that big old UFO sightings and all them orbs that were going crazy, like last year, whatever, at the end of the year, it was all crazy. Well, that was happening during COVID out in Colorado Springs in Colorado. Way, way, way crazier. You know what I mean? Then, you know what I'm saying? Way before that, years before that, during the COVID and all that. And it's documented. You can look it up. Everybody in Colorado Springs was like, Dad, a mile away, there was just UFOs and orbs watching me for hours and hours, multiple days. And we were like, everybody was stuck in their houses during COVID, you know what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, think about it. The most elite athletes in the world go to this training center. They get their DNA taken, their blood and everything, because they have to do that in the Olympics and stuff like that. Plus, just living in them headquarters, their DNA is everywhere. So that's like a direct connection to NORAD and all that as well, because I feel that, you know what I'm saying, a connection to like fallen angels, aliens, Nephilim, Bigfoot, and all that. Genetics, you know, NORAD has a lot to do with genetics because they study UFOs and all the genetics and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that would make the best lab in the world for genetics from the most elite athletes from the games that were created by demigods or fallen angels or Nephilims, or you know, their offspring or whatever, whatnot. So that's crazy to me. Just that direct correlation right there. You know what I'm saying? But then on top of that, it's right here on Knob Hill. You know what I'm saying, in Colorado Springs. Right there on Knob Hill in Colorado Springs is where this is, and they said that this is the biggest that Tesla built, the biggest battery in this area, whatever that means, you know what I'm saying? And then it started making me thinking about how they showing like electronic chips and all that look like cities and all that. And then that's a whole nother rabbit hole, and how, you know what I'm saying, or deep dive or whatever. And, you know, we're humans, so we run off electricity, but that's a whole nother thing. But just think about it. Think about it. UFOs, aliens, fallen angels, Bigfoot, Nephilim, NORAD, cities underground. I bet you there's tunnels all the way from that Olympic training center all the way to NORAD, since that was their old base. There's probably whole cities up under the there's probably cities up within the mountains and under Colorado Springs. There's probably cities under there, I believe. But that connection right there is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just super crazy. So I'm gonna break it down one more time. The connection with Tesla and where he built his lab in Colorado Springs in an area called Knob Hill. And then a few blocks away from that is the Olympic training center headquarters. And where that is stationed is the old NORAD offices, barracks, and NORAD is in the mountains right up the street west, where, and this is, they even have a trail. There was so many Bigfoot sightings out there in Colorado Springs, up over there by Pikes Peak in that area for years. But they even have a trail that they even named Bigfoot, like Bigfoot Trail. And then they were putting up real signs of beware Bigfoot, because someone said they hit one, or there was some claims that they allegedly got killed out there, you know what I'm saying, on the highway or whatever. But yeah, and then if you think about it, they got them cliff dwellings right up there in Colorado Springs, right off that too. So that makes sense too. If the people had to build cliff dwellings to, like, you know, to be safe from these Nephilim, Bigfoots, which is crazy. But the connection is just crazy. The connection from NORAD's old barracks, offices, and labs is exactly the new Olympic headquarters training center, where all the most elite athletes in the world go train and stay. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, pretty wild though. I'm gonna probably make a whole video about this and all that, and get a little deeper dive and bring some visuals and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, and Tesla actually, his lab was less than 200 feet, less than 150, 200 feet from the Olympic Training Center. You know what I'm saying? And he had said he created lightning out there in the skies. The reason why he even put his lab there is because it was right there by Pikes Peak. And if you look at that Pike Peak trail, like that, almost, now I got a whole nother deeper dive. I'm over here thinking, like, you know what I'm saying, was like, what if that's a pyramid? Because they have that Pikes Peak trail that goes all the way up right there. And if you look at it, it kind of looks like a pyramid. Now I think about it. Or could it be a natural thing that people used as a pyramid to do whatever they did? Hey, it's pretty wild. That just kind of hit my mind right now. But like I said, the connection between Tesla's lab, NORAD, the Olympic Training Center headquarters, fallen angels, Nephilim, aliens, UFOs, Bigfoots, is just a crazy, you know what I'm saying, connection there. Definitely. Yeah, I'm finna sign out though. Till next time. Yo.